it definitely was a debate that was more about policy than the first debate. But we remember the first debate was somewhat of a train wreck. They were just talking over one another. And the first debate was noted for the amount of lies made mostly by Trump. Now, this debate, Trump also engaged in a lot of falsehoods, as he normally did, but he was a little bit more measured than before. But I think the issue for Trump was that he needed to come away with a really big win here. He needed Biden to falter and to fall apart, and that really didn't happen here. We have 48 million people that have already voted. There are very few undecideds, and Trump was going to need to move people who were already going to vote for Trump away from him or to get some of these undecided people to vote for him. And he wasn't really speaking to the rest of the country, to all of the country. He was only really trying to cater to his base, and that's not really going to be enough for him to pull out a win.
So you don't see this debate being able to change voters' minds in any way?
No, I don't think it is going to really change people's minds. It was important for Biden not to fall apart and to remain presidential and to not take the bait. Trump did try to make the personal attacks, trying to attack Biden for being corrupt, trying to argue that he's a pawn of the left. But every time Trump tried to attack Biden on the issues of corruption or his own corruption or his family's corruption, Biden was pretty swift in responding, well, you need to release your tax returns before you start talking about corruption. So there was no big surprise that Trump could pull out of this debate that would really change the minds of voters.
So obviously the coronavirus pandemic is one of the key topics ahead of this election, this presidential election. With Trump having actually had the coronavirus himself, how do you think that affected last night's debate?
Well, it made Trump actually more vulnerable. He was trying to downplay his own bout with the coronavirus and how the country is managing with it. But Biden made it very clear that we are in crisis, as he mentioned in the tape. We're facing a dark winter ahead in the US because Trump has so badly mismanaged it. And he kept emphasizing the number of deaths higher than any country in the world, over 220,000 people. So none of this was something that was going to look good for Trump. Trump didn't want the debate to be about the coronavirus, but that came up again and again because that's what Biden feels is really the major issue of this campaign.